What's up guys, Matt back again with another unboxing video, and today we're going to be reviewing the legendary Super Saiyan 3 Broly from Ichiban Kuji, Super Dragon Ball Heroes 5th mission.
Before we dive into the video, please remember to subscribe and hit the bell, like the video, comment your thoughts down below for us to discuss, follow me on my socials, and consider becoming a YouTube member to enter into our monthly giveaways and Discord server so our community can help you on your Dragon Ball figure collecting journey.
This figure is based on legendary Super Saiyan 3 Broly from Super Dragon Ball Heroes. Super Saiyan 3 Broly doesn't appear in the Super Dragon Ball Heroes anime, but Broly does appear in the 8th Super Dragon Ball Heroes opening for the game. This figure is an Ichiban Kuji release, so if you'd like to learn more about Ichiban Kuji, check the video in my description below to learn more about it. If you're interested in buying this figure, check the other video in my description below to check out the best places to shop. This figure was released on December 16th, 2023 in Japan with the rest of the Ichiban Kuji set. Broly stands at about 13.5 inches, weighs 6 pounds, 15.2 ounces in box, weighs 5 pounds, 1.6 ounces on his own, and the figure comes whole with his support and hair support. I just realized that Broly's arm has been in the frame probably since the beginning of the video, so I'm sorry, but he's big. I mean, I don't even think I could move him in a place where it would be suitable, but this is probably the biggest figure of the year. Bigger than Cell Max, bigger and heavier at least. Like, his box could barely fit on my table where I record this stuff, so it's just bonkers. You know, like I said, Super Saiyan 3 is my favorite form, so to get someone like Broly in this form, something that I haven't really seen since Raging Blast on the PlayStation 3, like, whoa, what a freaking throwback. Give us Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta next, please, Bandai. But let's talk about the character choice, right? I think this is amazing. I think it's a 5 out of 5. Broly is freaking awesome. We haven't had a Broly Ichiban Kuji probably since History of the Film, I think, right? I might be misremembering, but maybe you can remind me in the comments. I'll probably remember while I'm editing the video or something. But yeah, we haven't had one in a really long time. And it looks like they've abandoned the King Cluster name. So that is kind of interesting because this is clearly the same body as the Omnibus Z King Cluster Broly that was in the set. But that was a King Cluster, and this is labeled as a Masterlise. So maybe just to not have as much confusion, they ditched King Cluster and just stuck to Masterlise, and they're just going to have subsets of Masterlise, like Extra, E-Moving, Plus, which I'm super excited to talk about. But yeah, I think as a character choice, it's a 5 out of 5. It's very nostalgic for me as someone who played Raging Blast when I was a teenager, and Broly is just awesome. We haven't seen him in a while in Ichiban Kuji, so it's nice to have him. I do want other forms of DBS Broly that we haven't seen before we get anything else, but I'm still happy to get this, so, you know, I'm really happy with the choice that they made. Likeness is perfect. It's really hard to mess up Broly's likeness, I think. He has those signature white eyes with no pupils. Very, very angry. Standard that we see with Broly, you know, it is contrasting. It's not the same exact face as the legendary Super Saiyan Broly from Omnibus Z. The head sculpt is completely different. Everything else is the same. But yeah, that's the big contrast. He's angry instead of like smiling in this one. Anime lines under and over his eyes. Very nice detail there. They bolded the outlines around his eyes as well. No eyebrows, which is, of course, very much needed with Super Saiyan 3. You can see that they put a few more details around his mouth just to accentuate that a little bit. And, of course, he does not look derpy inside of his mouth. No buck teeth, none of that, which is very, very good. I'm very happy to see that. So, yeah, he looks perfect in the face. It's a 5 out of 5 for his likeness. No issues there whatsoever. Now the sculpt. The sculpt is what I think is the only area that we can really criticize of this figure. The body is 100% the same from the Omnibus Z. The only difference, I think, is they might have painted his like pink robe on his waist a little bit differently than the Omnibus Z. I think the Omnibus Z's paint, I don't have it right now. I used to have it, so I have to recollect it. I wish I had it to compare. But I have watched videos like the Masked Saiyan who reviewed this. And it looked pretty much the same, but I think the pink might be lighter on the original Broly. I'm not sure. But other than that, it's still the same. The sculpt is the same, but wow, dude. His new hair sculpt is huge. Like, I hate these stupid hair stands. But this one's definitely a much better hair stand than the one that came with the Rose Goku Black from last year in 4th mission, because that one sucks. That one's so bad. I complained about it in my last video with the full power Rose Goku Black. You should check that out. But this is much better because it comes in one piece and it sticks pretty closely to the body, and it's not that obtrusive, but I hate it when they have to do that, but I get it because his hair, it's huge, dude. It's bigger than his torso. It's almost as big as the whole figure. So this figure weighs like 6 pounds. It's humongous. And the hair is just so intricate. It's pretty much very similar to the detail style and everything that they did on the Goku Black in this set. But man, what a wonderful job. So even though they're recycling the whole body, I'm still going to give it a 4 out of 5 for his sculpt, because that hair sculpt is freaking cool, dude. And honestly, the original Omnibus Z Broly's body was such a great sculpt, then I'm not really going to complain if they wanted to use it again for something like this. Like, this is really cool. So 4 out of 5 for the sculpt. The hair really does carry this figure. It's the main part of the figure. And they did a fantastic job. Paint and shading is really, really good. It's like I said, there's really no difference with the paint and shading on the original Broly. However, I don't recall if the Omnibus Z's Broly's skin had shading, because the shading on this Broly skin, I don't think exists. I don't think he has any shading on his skin. He does have the glossy gold for his bracelets and his boots. There is shading on his pink waist belt and his pants, and there's a ton of shading in his hair, dude. Lots of dark and light greens to mix in really well. Very, very green for his Super Saiyan 3 hair, which is how it looks in, you know, the games and stuff that he appears in. So I love the way that this thing is painted. It makes my shelf with Super Dragon Ball Heroes. I have a few shelves, actually, but the shelf that he's on is so colorful because it has the pinks from the Goku Blacks, the yellows from Bardock, the blues from Goku, and then this green. Wow, just a really nice mix of colors. So I'm going to give paint and shading a 5 out of 5 for this thing. Freaking awesome. Size and scale, what do you want me to say, man? He's huge. He's almost 14 inches tall. Just a humongous figure. Obviously, he's going to scale pretty well with your Broly figures, your Goku figures, everybody. Very standard for Masterlise and / King Cluster, whatever you want to call this. But yeah, he's huge. He's going to be one of your biggest figures. He's easily one of the biggest figures in my collection right now. absolutely awesome. His size and scale is definitely a 5 out of 5. But yeah, that was the last figure that I've reviewed for Ichiban Kuji Super Dragon Ball Heroes 5th mission. If you haven't seen the other reviews, there will be a playlist at the end of the video that you can click and check out. But I'm really happy with this set. It surprised me. It's definitely the biggest upset of the year. I was not thinking about this set at all. I thought it was just going to be whatever, a filler set full of recycles, but they really surprised me and did some really unique things with these figures. This Broly is a great example of that. If you love Broly, which I know a lot of people do, he's going to be expensive just because he's heavy in box. He's almost 7 pounds, so it's going to cost you a lot to import him to America or whatever other country outside of Japan you're in. But if you have an opportunity to get him, I highly suggest it. It's Broly. It's a unique form for Broly, so it's only going to get more expensive over time. But in my opinion, he's worth picking up at full price. He's a 4.5 out of 5. But until the next video, guys, I will see you all later.